going to try to go about 40, 45 minutes. We'll see, though. So maybe it ends up not being a long ramble. I'm going to throw in some tapping. I've got this, the Octopath Traveler Wayfarer's Edition box here. That produces good tapping sounds. Grab that from time to time. Just gonna be discussing the usual stuff. I will talk about what we've been watching. Still watching Mobland. We have one more episode to watch to catch up on that. I talked about that a little bit. Good show. I think maybe it's episode 6 we gotta watch, or 5 or 6. That's been going well. Good intrigue and kind of stuff happening. Every character is like pretty good in it in terms of like just kind of being fleshed out and having nice kind of stories of their own and stuff. Did we watch a movie recently? Oh, we watched this movie. I guess it had just been out. I don't know if it still is. It's just called Drop. I think it's just called. It's not called The Drop. I don't think. It's about this woman. I guess when she was younger, she first had her kid. Well, I guess this wouldn't have been too long because the kid's not overly old, so it was maybe it was like 7, 8 years prior. I don't know. They flash back to stuff happening with the husband. I guess I assume it was her husband and not just boyfriend. I don't know. Then it cuts to her in present day, and she's meets a dude on like a blind date. Or no, she's been talking to him. She knows what he looks like. It takes place in Chicago. So she goes to this high-rise bar and restaurant. And all of a sudden, I guess this is this thing they do. I don't know what this was. They drop these. I guess you can access someone's phone, or you can just, even if you don't have their number, I guess. I don't know. Drop things to them. Memes or whatever the hell. But all of a sudden, she gets a thing where it's like, kill the person you're with on the date, or your kid and your sister, the sister's babysitting the son, die, and then they show a video of the person in the house, right? And then it goes, these kind of movies have happened, right? You know, where they force the person to either reveal the truth about themselves, or they'll die, or someone else is going to die if they don't do something. Honestly, this movie reviewed well. I think the users as well, and the critics. It wasn't bad, but it was like nothing was. These movies, the problems with these movies are, it's like gets so ridiculous in the way because the person's like, don't tell your date, don't tell anybody. You find, obviously there's a person in the, you find out who the person is in the room who's doing this, and I'm not going to spoil the reasons why things are being done, and they want this guy killed that she's on a date with, but it's always like, they got cameras and they got freaking little mics all over the place. Because there's a mic at her table, and they go to move tables, and the guy's like, don't do it. But it's so, like, from the beginning, no one important in the story is going to die. But there'll be a random death because they got to throw somebody in there, right? Something happens, which happens. But it's so weird, the way they're behaving, the woman's behaving, and even the guy to an extent. And it's like, dude, this wouldn't, like, the person would just leave. Realistically, the guy would just leave. Like, he teases leaving at a point, but of course doesn't. And other people would be like, listen, what the hell? Like, it's just like almost so far-fetched in that sense, and it's just, not much was happening. I guess there's some decent suspense, but how it's going to play out. Like, it's just so, I don't know, the movie wasn't overly long, but this could have been like an hour-long movie. Once again, this is another thing that probably worked better as a show. Like a 45-minute, hour-long show. I don't know. I didn't think it was that great. These kind of movies have been made, but I mean, you could say that about every movie. But it's just, it's like really, like, no. I'm like, listen, you're acting extremely weird. Now, if I was to accept that something serious is happening, then fine. But it's like, dude, you can't, like, it's constantly on edge now and acting strange. Like, it wasn't a terrible movie, but I was just like, all right, whatever. That's something you watch once and don't watch again. I mean, the acting and everything was fine in it. But, watching The Last of Us Season 2, I've been enjoying it. Spoilers here, obviously, if you've never watched the show or you're watching it. Pause here for a few seconds, but, obviously we know Joel bites it. They actually, because I was like, oh, are they going to follow the second game at a similar pace on the show? And they did with his death. He's going to pop up again because of his flashbacks and stuff in the game, so he will reemerge. He hasn't been in, has it been 4 episodes? Yes. So he hasn't been in the last 2 at all. I would assume he'll pop up because they showed it. They showed during one of the trailers before the season started, them in the zoo when he goes to the zoo with Ellie in a flashback, and they'll probably show some other stuff. My fiance's like, well, that sucks. I don't want to watch this anymore. But we still watched it. The 3rd episode was kind of just decision making and stuff. Not really much going on. 4th episode, they did not. I'm pretty sure they did not introduce the Shambler. Because doesn't the Shambler appear in the subway system when Ellie and Dina end up in the subway? And then the WLF comes in as well. And then all of a sudden there's also the Infected are in there. And I'm pretty sure it's when the Shambler first appears. I remember when I got to that part, how I got out. I like threw, I guess maybe I had a grenade or I threw something. And by the WLF, the soldiers in there. And then all of a sudden, all the Infected started going at him. They started battling. I just jet out of there. But that was still a cool scene. More stuff. They did the stuff in the TV station as well. And the scars have been introduced and stuff. Jeffrey Wright, the guy who plays Isaac in the game, is playing him in the show as well, which is cool. I've been enjoying the season, honestly. Ellie plays a tune like in the game. They're following the game like pretty closely. Like, if you want to like talk about castings and stuff like that, so be it. But in terms of them following the game, they're almost following the game to a T. But I don't mind Bella Ramsey as Ellie. She doesn't have to look like you could. What's her name? Caitlin Devers. Is that her name? Who plays Abby? Everything. She would have made more sense as Ellie. But Bella doesn't have the full Ellie look. But she acts like Ellie kind of perfectly. Like, the attitude's there. And I've talked about this in the past. As long as you can have the attitude of the character, I don't really give a shit what the person looks like. It helps, sure, but I'm just a person that doesn't. Although I will say, it's half jokingly, half not. I'm like, because Abby is not ripped in this. She's not like, and which I don't know if that's going to play into the fight with Ellie, because, spoilers here, if you have not played the game, when you first fight Ellie as Abby in the theater, of course it was an annoying fight. But she, eventually, obviously, you beat her, and like she beats the shit out of her, like obviously. And then at the end of the game, they fight again, and you're fighting her as Ellie. But Abby is in no state to fight at this point. I won't say what she's gone through in the game at that point, but so that made more sense. But of course, the game's not going to just have you beat the shit out of her the whole fight, because God forbid. That's why I love that part in the Spider-Man game. Spider-Man 2. Is it just Spider-Man 2? Did it have a name? Where you use I'm pretty sure you're Harry as Venom. And you fight Oh my God, like Craven. And Craven's a little busted up because I think you had already fought him as Spider-Man. No, you fought him as Miles Morales. I think, right? But you just beat the shit out of him as Venom. And it's like, you don't see that in games enough. To where you're like, this is how this fight would go. Even if Craven was at full strength, he would still lose, probably pretty handily. But, they couldn't just have, I mean, the Ellie Abby fight also, you're running around and Ellie's, sneaking up on you and stuff, but I feel like that fight would be it was more, it wasn't, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, the fight was annoying because Ellie would just spot you a ton and just immediately take you out. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know. That fight was a little annoying. But they're following the game. There's no side quests in Seattle where you go and go into the bank and stuff. But I'm enjoying the season well enough. Like I talked about this with Leon in the Operation Raccoon City. I didn't care who was playing him. I thought the person was fine. It was the way Leon was presented as a character that was terrible. Like, he was a bumbling idiot. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know how to use this. Like, he's got a shotgun. He's like, what? Like, come on, dude. I understand it's his first day on the job, but he still would have went through training. Come on. That was annoying. Once again, it's how they're presented. Sure, of course, like I said, if you can find a character that looks like the person, fine. But then maybe that character can't. So it gets down to, the person looks exactly like the character from the game. Does that matter more to you than the way they behave? Which one you have? It comes down to which one you want more. Do you want the look or the attitude? So if they get someone who looks exactly like Ellie, but the attitude's not there, do you not give a shit because she looks like her? That's the problem. Like, what do you like more? Are you more just presentation and not substance? Like, what do you give more shit? Because I think she acts like Ellie fine. I think she nails it pretty well. I'm waiting for her to call Dina a burden, though. She hasn't done that yet. Overall, I'm enjoying it, though. I'm trying to think of when they're going to cut this, because this season, the second game is going to be split into 2 seasons, right? So I'm trying to figure out when they're going to, cut it off. What's the cliffhanger going to be? My friend made a good point. I just texted him, and spoilers here if you're not playing the game. He's probably right. They'll probably cut this season off when you do fight Ellie as Abby, and then the people that die in the theater at that point. I won't say who does. That's probably when it will end. But I'm enjoying it well enough. I did think they were going to stretch it out with Joel. I thought they were going to focus, and they might still, but I thought they were going to focus more on Abby's stuff for maybe an episode or 2. And then do more stuff with Joel and Ellie and shit, and then. But no, they're following the game, actually. Which is cool. You like to see it. Although, their compound, or whatever they call it in Wyoming, the city, did not get attacked by infected in the game. Which was fine. But, did we watch anything else? Oh, gosh. I don't think so. Was there another movie we watched? Maybe there was a second. We watched Drop. Did we watch something before that? I can't remember these movies. I immediately forget. I do have another starting lineup I had picked up. So Glenn Rice. This is 93, I believe. Yeah. What do we got on the back here? Malone, Horace Grant, Charles Barkley, Mourning, Mark Price, Rice, Scottie Pippen, LJ, Larry Johnson, Drexler, there's Stacey Augmon, Christian Laettner, Kemp, and Shaq. So the three big rookies got, literally the three top picks got figures in that year. Shaq, Laettner, and Mourning. This one you got two cards. Like sometimes you get a poster, depending on the year, or a coin. One card, two cards. This is Glenn Rice on the Heat. Before he went to the Hornets, and then he ended up on the Lakers. He won a title with the Lakers. I think this was 10 and change. I do need to open this at some point. I could open it now. I don't feel like it. Might make too much noise. But what was I going to say? There's a couple others I'm looking at. Starting with Mark Price, I'm looking at. Kemp, I want to get a Sean Kemp one. I do need to get a Drexler. I've been watching a lot of, on YouTube, All the Smoke with, was it Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson podcast. I was watching some older ones. I was watching one with Rod Strickland. They had Isaiah Thomas on. And they had Charles Oakley on recently. And I guess he was taking shots at Isaiah or something. And Steven Jackson was like laughing his ass off. And I'm pretty sure Isaiah like called him out. That's great. Watch another one. I was watching one with Rasheed Wallace. But pretty decent. Oh, I watched the one with Reggie Miller. That was a good one, too. And then I was watching some of another one with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson. I was watching one with, they have on the Gary Payton. I guess Gary Payton is Quentin Richardson's uncle. I did not know that. A lot of the players now have kind of like podcasts and shit. Everybody has podcasts these days, right? There's a lot of podcasts, but I don't know when this is. I don't know when I'm gonna line this up, so I don't really want to talk about sports. I don't know when this is gonna go up. We could be out of the round. Teams could be eliminated by the time this goes up. I mean, realistically, it's not gonna go up later than next week. But at the moment of filming here, I might end just putting it up on the weekend though, so it won't be too far off. Cavs are down 2-0. They lose both games at home. I think it was Halliburton that hit 3 to win it. And game 2, and they were up like 10. I remember looking, and they were up like 10 points. The Cavs with like not that much time left, and Cavs are seriously on fraud alert right now. They need to bounce back. A little bit of hockey's going on at the moment. Toronto's up 1-0 at like I said, at the time of this recording. Toronto's up 1-0 on Florida. Edmonton's up 1-0 on Vegas. Carolina beat Washington in overtime in game 1. The Knicks did beat the Celtics in game 1. I don't know how the rest of that series will go. Warriors beat the T-Wolves in game 1, but Curry got hurt. He only played 13 minutes, and he might miss game 2, but maybe he'll play in it, like I said. This is going to go up after game 2s have been played, at the very least. That's enough of sports, though. Because I don't want to... Things are going to be so different by the time this goes up that... See, I don't know. That doesn't matter when this goes up, but the eating the fluff cookie sandwich and the drink review. This is the second time I've done this. I thought I set that up for 9 a.m. And I wake up in the middle of the night to pop on my phone. And I'm just looking, see how the other video was doing it was a sports ramble, I believe. And I see that the thing went up at 12 a.m. I was like, come on. It's not annoying in the sense that it does a shit ton of views quickly, but then it completely slows down over the course. After like 6, 7 a.m., it completely slows down. So I take that as pretty much everybody that would have watched this video from 9 a.m. to like 12 p.m. has already seen it now. And I'm not getting people to replace the people of now, It will still view well. It's doing well at the moment. But I was just like, what did I add? It's not that big of a deal, but it's just annoying because now I don't want to put up the next video I have scheduled. Well, I'm not going to say what it is because it's going to go up after it. You've already seen it. The video that's scheduled for the Thursday, I need to go up at 9 a.m. I don't want to put up 2 videos in a day because then I have to record more. Because I'm going to be away and I want videos ready to go. I'm only going to make like 1 video up there. It's going to be on my cell phone. I'm not bringing any of the equipment. I don't feel like bringing that stuff up. Maybe 2 vids if I film a walk, and then maybe if I get some stuff at games at Book Off, I might. Or Blu-rays and stuff. They have a ton of movies. I might pick up some movies, so I'll probably do that as well. Like a 6-7 minute pickup video with my phone. Yeah, this is a solid. Some rumblings in my stomach, so this might not end up being a long ramble. I'm at 22 minutes at the moment. Garbage didn't come yesterday. The garbage man didn't come. Oh, that's annoying. We have a private garbage company because we're outside of the reach of the county or the town or whatever to come and get it. We're like right outside of where they stop. This is the first time they didn't come in a day. I don't know why I left it out. The other people down the block, like 4 or 5 of them, also use the same. I can't even remember the name. It's on the garbage can. It's the first time they've never come. I think one of the people, neighbors, will, I guess sometimes they'll like randomly not come, which kind of sucks because they only come once a week. I mean, we have a dump we could go to. That's like 8 minutes away. Where if we really needed to throw it, because we're not going to be here. Well, the garbage will go out next week, but if we're doing double load, I'm not going to be able to fit the big the big bag that's out in the garage. And for next week, it's going to have to sit in the garbage overnight, over the week. I don't know why they didn't come. Maybe their trucks got fucked up or something. Maybe no truck breaks down or some shit. Oh, it's possible. Because I was like, was it a holiday? Because they won't come on holidays here, and that's it. Like in New York, if your garbage pickup landed on a holiday, they would just come the next day. Here they just don't come until the next week. We've gotten lucky if not landed on a holiday. I don't know, but not that big a deal. But it's just like because we had a big bag of garbage in there. I was like, oh crap! I don't know if there's gonna be room to get another bag in there, but we'll see. Probably can make it work. Although some people pile their garbage up so the lid is like half up, and this is a truck that the people don't get out of it. They're not hanging out on the back of the truck, and then they just grab the can. This one has the arms. So I'm like, really? What is it? Don't you have to worry about that flipping over and garbage going flying? I'm just not like that. Like, I like to do it by the book. I want it to be down. I don't want... Maybe if it was like the lid was like slightly opened, maybe. But I'm weird like that. I want it to... Because I don't want it knowing... all of a sudden I do that, and all of a sudden the garbage goes all over the fucking place. Because I filled it up too high. Gotta cut these lawns before leaving too. our greenhouse, man. This green, we never had a greenhouse. We used to grow in islip and then vegetables in islip in Massapequa as well. Grow some stuff, mostly in pots, some of it in the ground. In islip, it was all in the ground. We had set up with the people downstairs. I remember I had the tool and cleaned out a pretty big space in the yard, and then we used to have tomatoes, jalapenos, regular peppers, eggplant. But we have a greenhouse here. I mean, we had some plants in there, vegetables in there, because it was still getting cold in the morning. It was still like in the 30s. And it's like 10 degrees warmer in the greenhouse. But this thing, because it's holding the moisture in, you don't have to water the plants as much, which is nice, because the soil is still damp. And I pulled the one tomato plant out. This thing, we're going to have to cut it back. This tomato plant is the hugest I've ever seen. It's freaking huge. I either got to get another cage to stack on top of the cage that's in the pot, because their weight is leaning them over. They're tilting, wilting, whatever. But the peas we have in there are going all over the place. I put a couple new things for them to latch onto. Everything's going nuts. The peppers are going nuts. I was like, this is kind of cool. We have a couple of herbs in there as well. But I don't know if I'm going to. I want to pull some stuff out just and hopefully it rains, because these plants are not going to be getting watered. We're not asking the person that watches it. We have someone watching the cat, but we're not going to be like, oh, can you do this and do that? I'm not going to do that. Now, the stuff in the greenhouse, it won't matter. I give it a nice watering. It should hold up for a while to where they're not screwed. But the outside plants, unless it gets dangerously hot, if it rains like once decently, they should be fine. We have zucchini and another one too that are the outside that are doing pretty well. I'm closing in on. At the moment of filming this, I need 92 subs to get to 19K, and I'm gonna probably do it. And if I have to, I'll just change the date. But before I leave, I want to film probably on like the Wednesday next week. Before we leave, I want to film a 19K vid, and then schedule it for while we're in New York, like maybe the day we're even coming home. And then hopefully I'm at the 19, and then it's another video that I can film and have up. Now, of course, if it's not happening and the subs have slowed down, I will just schedule it for a later date, whatever. But I want to do that because I'm on a pretty good run the beginning of this month. Views-wise, well, I mean, the last 2 months, March and April were great. May's off to a great start, too, so thank you to everybody who's been watching, all existing subs, new subs, everybody. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, YouTube, if, I don't know if I've gotten, sometimes when I get a sub spike, I think I got a shout out. But, sometimes I don't know if that's the case. So if someone has shouted me out recently, thank you. Or YouTube's just throwing me a little bit of a bone. Not like I'm getting the end all be all, but I'm doing very well. And I want to get to that 20K as quickly as possible, because that for me is another massive number. I haven't filmed that 19K vid. And then all of a sudden I'll lose like 30 subs. But I've been on a pretty good run lately. I am going to be doing, well, it will be uploaded either before I leave or scheduled for while we're not here. The last part of the team I'm using, the Knicks, right? It's them. And the NBA 2K23. And I'll probably start another one at some point. People keep asking for like other games. Like, I don't want to do other franchise modes unless they are literally like this era's one. Like, I love the fact that you can go back to the 80s. They have a good amount of actual players. Enough to where I can draft real players and go through the eras. I like that. I don't want to start a franchise in NHL or Madden or something and then just have a bunch of fake players and stuff, and I'm going through a franchise in the draft and shit, and I'm just going through the franchise. I don't want to do it that way with just trades and stuff. I like how you start from the beginning and go. Now, if those, let me know if any of those games have that mode as well. And I do it. But I have no problem doing another team in the eras mode. Because honestly, I'm not doing as well as I would have liked with the Knicks. I think there's 3 titles won and 4 lost. I think on that last one it was like lost 2 in a row, or 3 out of 4 titles were lost. We did win back-to-back ones in one of them too. I think we're 3 and 4 though. Because I was trying to get it to rebuild, and all of a sudden they made it to the finals again. I was like, come on. I'll film that soon. I'll film this Wednesday. I might film that actually tonight. Shall see how that's gonna play out. Everybody's been raving over Thunderbolts. It looks pretty cool. Sinners looks good as well. That's doing well. I'm not going to see either of those in the theater, but we were going to see Until Dawn in the theater. And then I had that stomach bug. And that didn't happen. And that's got to be out of the theater by now. I was all like, yeah, we'll see Until Dawn. My fiance wanted to see it. I was like, cool. And then that morning, I was like, no, I thought I was getting a little better. And then I got worse. And now it's fine, but. And down here in the theater, some movies like that, they'll be in the theater 2 weeks and they're gone. Because this theater has, I think, 7 theaters. And sometimes a big movie's playing in 2 of them. So, they usually have 6 to 7 movies. And let's see what they actually have in the theater right now to see if it's still in there. Ashborough, Cinemark, they got Thunderbolts today, Sinners, Minecraft, The Accountant 2, Until Dawn's still there, The Amateur, and then a Minecraft movie, the Block Party Edition, I don't know what that is, and The King of Kings. So that is how many different movies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So maybe they have 8 theaters. Unless they are. Oh no, they're only playing that other Minecraft one, so they probably only have 7 theaters, and they're just throwing that in one for one showing. But I mean, this week 2 movies are going because you got Lilo and Stitch coming out and Mission Impossible coming out as well. I think they both come out this week. Maybe not. Do they? When do they come out? The 22nd or the 23rd, so it's not out this week. 2 weeks. But they both come out on the same day. Lilo and Stitch and what is it? The Final Reckoning. I still gotta watch the last one. What was it called? Dead Reckoning or something? Part 1. And then they were like, oh wait. I need to watch that one. I don't know. I don't think I saw Fallout. That was the one with Henry Cavill, wasn't that one? I do like him. I just haven't. Wait, it was Rogue Nation before that? I saw Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol. The second one. I saw those 3 in the theater. How many have there been? There's the first one, second one, the third one. Ghost Protocol. Right then it was Rogue Nation, then Fallout, and then these last 2. So it's 8. This is going to be the 8th one? I'm not missing one. My least favorite of the Mission Impossible is probably 2 of the ones I've seen. And that one's still fine. My favorite's still the original. I love the original so much. It's just so rewatchable to be. It's like a straight up. It's the closest one to the show and stuff, and it's very spy thriller. Fucking like, it's definitely a thriller, you know. Second one then was more action, and they've since then it's just become more and more action, set pieces and stuff. Although they still do some of that shit. Like the first one had the fake hotel room, and I think in one of them, maybe it was a Fallout, maybe I did see it. Was that one? Don't they have like a fake hospital they set up? That kind of stuff's awesome. Like in the first one when they do they're in the fake hotel and they pull the walls out and shit. Like I'm like, that's the kind of shit, like that's super cool to me. But I did show this in my what was that video? Did I show this in the hand motions video? I forget. I did show it though. I do want to show it again. All these the antique trail, and a bunch of different Denver, North Carolina. There's a lot though. Almost every state has one of these antique trails. Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South and North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine all have them. We went to the White Owl Antique Mall in Mount Pleasant. It's about 40 minutes from here, 35, 40 minutes. Pretty cool place. I'm pissed I said it in the other video. I wanted to, I got home and I was like, because a lot of these places have a ton of comics, right? And this one comic booth it's like 10 comics for $15, which is a good deal. Like, regardless, like comics you can get for free. You can spend a lot of money on comics, but comics overall, if you want to just get a bunch to read them, they're cheap. It's a cheaper hobby. It can become expensive like any other one, but I feel like in terms of like getting your feet into a hobby, you can get comics for a pretty good price. I want to go to the one in Ramsor and Siler City. They're all over the place, though. Waynesville, Highlands, Franklin, Hendersonville, Asheville, Gastonia. I think that's over by Charlotte. There's Denver, Mooresville, Kannapolis, Concord, etc. They don't have the Antique Collectors Mall from Asheboro on here, though, which is weird because that place is big too. But yeah, this I should have did that. I mean, whatever. We'll go back if they still have that deal. Hopefully, they probably do. I feel like a lot of people want to get rid of their comics, especially like older ones. And it's a cheaper hobby than video games. And speaking of that, I was looking up cards. I guess I'll randomly look up boxes of cards. So I was on David Adams. And I didn't realize. I guess I did this with the Upper Deck, NHL Upper Deck. I guess I started this in 23, 24. It used to be when you get a hobby box, or a hobby box, I think it was 24 packs at 8 cards a pack. So 192 cards. Now it's 12 packs in the hobby box at 12 cards per pack. So you get 144. So you're losing the amount of cards you got for the same price, if not more. Now, I don't know if they're giving you any extra inserts in there to get your money's worth, but I'm like, ugh. I'm always a couple of years behind anyway, typically. I was looking at some of the Topps Heritage Baseball older boxes that are like $50, like 23 and stuff. I just like ripping packs. If I get a cool hit, awesome. But I'm not gambling that, because a lot of collecting cards is straight up gambling. That's why people will buy a case, and then you're likely to get a good amount of hits, and then you sell them, I guess. But that's why I'd rather spend $40 on a box from the 90s. You know, some of the hockey and baseball boxes from the early 90s are pretty cheap. But, because I just like opening up packs and getting cards. Like, I'm never looking for a big hit. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to get something sick. Because I don't have that mentality of just like, even if I have the money to buy these cards, but I don't want to. That's the thing. If I have the money, I still don't want to pay. And all of a sudden, I'm getting less cards than 2 years ago. Like, if anybody knows if they're giving you more inserts or something to make up for losing like 50 cards. Because I'm pretty sure it's 24 packs at 8 cards a pack. Back in the day, you'd get 36 packs at like 12 to 14 cards a pack in a box. Now, of course, they mass-produced these things, so most of them are useless. Some aren't. But still, if you just want to collect sets and stuff, you're better off getting the older stuff. There's some cheaper options here, like the Heritage boxes. If you wait a couple of years, unless there's stud rookies in there, and even still. Because I feel like the Heritage look cool because they look like the old 70s cards. But they also, I just like collecting them and they're cheaper. So I can get a box of 23 for $50 I saw on eBay. I think you get, is it the same thing? Is it 24 and 8? Or is it something in 9? I don't know. But even the blaster boxes are like $25, $30 now. They used to say like the blaster boxes, if you want a budget collector, that the blaster boxes, like, no, they're still more expensive. They have a lot in the Walmart here. They have a ton. They never get like completely wiped out. I guess people in this area just don't give a shit about cards. Because there's always a good amount. Like when in New York, you go to the Target in Bayshore, or the Target in Lindenhurst, I believe, or the Walmart in Farmingdale. Their card sections were like wiped out all the time. Their cards, like, they were gone. There was nothing. And I'm not even including the Pokemon Magic stuff is gone too. I obviously don't pay attention to that. But this Walmart has a ton. The Walmart in Florida that I go to in Lake Wales when I'm there, they usually have a decent selection as well. But it's not, this one's usually stocked to the brim. I saw a couple of, I guess it's Upper Deck Series 2, Blaster, and I guess a Mega Box or whatever they call it. There was a bunch of basketball stuff, hoops I saw in there. I saw Score something, maybe it was football. But they had something for each sport. But man, card collecting is an expensive hobby, man. And I feel like a lot of people don't, I mean, maybe, do you guys? If you collect cards, do you want to collect the base set? Or is it just all about insert, hit? I want an autograph. I want a relic, or whatever they're calling them. You know, a dual auto, a patch card. Even the jersey cards, unless they have an auto on it, are useless. They're giving those things out, like, unless you're getting like a absolute best player in the league type thing. And you want like the refractors and stuff, and the blue border, green border shit they do. Like when I got that Garrett Cole autograph, it's like a $50 card. I'm like, oh, cool. I think I did that on camera. I was like, oh, cool. Ends up being a $50 card or something. It's pretty cool. It is cool, but I'm not the type that's like, oh, I just got one. I need to now buy 20 more blasters to hopefully get lucky again. That was just luck. Like, I'm not gonna hope for the best all the time, because now if I had the money, because I could buy a box of the latest, a case of the latest, was it like 12 boxes in a case of the latest thing, but that's a chunk of money that I don't want to use, okay? Like, that's, making that money back is going to take a little bit. But then I'd be having to sell every hit, you know? And I don't want to do that necessarily. Like, let's take a peek. Let's do that real quick before I'm at 46 minutes, actually. My stomach rumblings have went away. Once I start really rambling into something, I don't even realize what time it is, and then it's like, oh, wait, we've made it to past 45 minutes. It is officially a long ramble. To me, a long ramble has to be at least 45 minutes. Realistically, I could say 40, but I have my own rules. Let's check out Dave and Adam's. Not Dave and Buster's. They are located in Buffalo, I believe, which was nice because when I did a random rare, I mean, every once in a while I get boxes from them. I was in the first shipping zone on being on Long Island, so we're not that far now in North Carolina even. Yeah, you only get free shipping on $200 or more. Same shipping, orders by 3 p.m. They got a ton of stuff. I want to see though. I'm doing it on the internet, on the phone, so it's differently laid out than on the laptop. We can even sell to them. Comics, of course, they have comics now. You got to. Let's take a look at hockey. 24-25. I was looking at a case, because it was so cheap, because it was like 2018-19 or 2021 extended series NHL. It was so cheap, I should try to find it again. Just because it's like I can rip a ton of packs, maybe get lucky on that front for a cheap price. I'm trying to think of the young guns, because they throw extra young guns in there, but it's usually, sometimes you get a decent player or two, but I need to look at how do I do this? I want to go high to low, not low to high, which I normally do. Do they not have a case here? Oh, here we go. Okay, maybe not. I take that back. Well, that's a case of something else. Oh, come on. Okay, well, that's SP. I'm looking for regular Upper Deck. Do they have a case of regular Upper Deck? Not Upper Deck SP or Upper Deck whatever. Okay, here's a 24. This is a pre-sale. This comes out at the end of this month. The extended series of this year, NHL. 12-box case, $1,425. Like, I could do that, but I don't want to do that. Because it's just not, I don't like to spend that much money on something like that. Regardless of how much I have. Okay, here's a little cheaper. 20-box case of Upper Deck MVP hockey. This is like their budget. The OPG also is you can collect OPG and MVP hockey at a very reasonable price, I should say. Upper Deck's getting more expensive, and some of the other shit. $1,079 for a 20-box case, and they have a blaster box. Oh, sorry, mega box. 20 mega box case, 20 of them. Series 1 Upper Deck, $585. Wow, they have a case of the tins too. All right, let me real quickly find that. Was it 2021? I gotta find this one. Yes, it was 2021. Yeah, I mean, you're getting a $24 retail box, 24-pack retail box, sorry, for $15. Where's the case? Oh, here it is. It's right here. So Upper Deck Extended Series 24-pack 20-box case for $225. That's the one I was looking at. I was like, I can get 20 of these. I will have infinite. No one would want them, and they're essentially useless unless they get something cool. All right, I was also looking at this one. A 6-pack, 24. This is a retail one. Six retail boxes. It's also 24 packs. It's essentially the same thing as a hobby box, but I think the hobby box gives you like a thing or two extra. You might get like a real hit in a hobby box. You do get patch cards though, jersey cards in the retail boxes because I've gotten them. $85 for 6 retail boxes. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. So that's a little bit cheaper than they go for $15 on their own, these retail boxes. So it's $5 cheaper, but you do have to pay shipping. So it would be $10 shipping. It'd be about $100 with tax for 6 boxes. So you're still paying less than $20, paying about $17 a box. That's worth it. It's like bang for your buck. But there's not a lot of good stuff in there. You might get some awesome hits though. You might. So you're gambling for less. Actually, I want to see something because the other, the Series 2 retail box was $40. Upper Deck Series 1 is $60 retail box. Okay, so here's a Series 2 20 box case. 24 pack, 20 box case. Now that's the retail one too, because they would tell you if it was hobby, I'm pretty sure. $780 for 20 boxes. What did I say? Did I say 780? I can't remember. It's 2 seconds. 780 divided by 20. You're paying pretty much what they cost, $39 a box. Should I push it an hour? I've got 8 minutes. I still might do that. The thing is, there's like no profit to me because I could sit here and say, okay, I just got, what was it, 6 boxes for, it'd end up being about $100 with the tax and the shipping. I'm gonna get into that in a minute too, tax and shipping for a second. I'll end the ramble on that, but I get 6. I mean, I'd have to be able to sell them for like $30 on eBay, and no one's paying $30 for them on eBay, so, and they shouldn't. I could probably sell them for 25, but you're not making anything. I'd have to open like 4, sell 2 as sealed, and then hope I get other hits to make some kind of money off of them. Because at that point, I'd be selling some of the cards because I literally have doubles upon doubles and quadruples and etc. But I think I mentioned Video Games Monthly again in the ramble on this. In the past, there's a couple of these subscription services for games where you get 3, 4, 10 games a box. You pay a month. I looked at Video Games Monthly briefly, and it was, I think I was looking at the 4-game box was $40, but you gotta pay 10 shipping. It's $50. I don't think there's any tax. Straight $50, $49.99. And I watch a lot of these unboxings. I watch a lot of these on YouTube of people unboxing these. Once again, it's the gambling, right? With this service, I think you have to put at least 2 systems down for the 4-game box. They have a ton of systems, and they'll say a lot of times when you get GameCube or disc-based stuff, sometimes you only get it in a jewel case. Sometimes you get it with the case but no manual. Sometimes you get it complete. I would probably do Genesis and Super Nintendo. You also make a list for them. You tell them the games you have, and then you have to update it as you get the boxes so they don't send you duplicates. Now, if I was to go on there, I would eliminate a bunch of sport games. I have a ton, but I watch people opening these boxes, and a lot of them, some mention they're like, it was $50. I'm counting the shipping. I always count the shipping. That's part of what I'm paying for the thing. I'm counting it. I'm not going to be like, well, I got it for $50. I always I don't separate the shipping from the price of that box. I would always count it as the same thing. And, but anyway, I'm like, I was real close to joining it. I was like, I'm very picky about the games I collect. I don't want just a bunch of random stuff. If I did, my collection would be 5 times its size. I don't want that. And sometimes I still do it, and I'm like, why did I get this game? Like with the Xbox One and stuff. But with the older stuff, like I want really specific stuff, you know? And that's what I want. It's like I don't want the Lion King or something for the Genesis or like Top Gear for the Super Nintendo. Like, for me, it's just not worth it. And sometimes these people get hooked up. You definitely get hooked up. And a lot of people compare their price with VG price charting, whatever the fuck it's called, to compare their prices of their box compared to what they got. Sometimes you spend $50 with your shipping on a 4-game box, and you're only getting $30, $20, $25, $30 worth of value. That sucks. Now, these VGM, at least, are very good. They'll hook you up if you complain to them or you're like, listen, this box was not worth the money, or they send you a duplicate and you update it. They will send you a new game. Apparently their customer service is very good, which is good. I think it's a cool service if you're just like, I want to build a collection. I can accept getting games, whatever. For me, it's not, though, because I'm going to want specific games. And then it comes down to the gambling. All of a sudden, you get that copy of... I'm trying to think of a... ActRaiser. I'll just say ActRaiser. That's like a $30 game. All of a sudden, you get a game like that in a box, and your box is well worth it. But it's the gambling aspect again, you know. You can kind of manipulate it, I guess, if you try to X off sport games. I think you can make wish lists, too, and every once in a while they'll throw. Or maybe that's one of the other services, but I don't know. My stomach came back again. That's why I kind of paused there for a second. I don't even know if I'm going to make the hour here, because I got 3 minutes, and I don't think I'm going to get there. My stomach's like, oh, you really think you're doing well? You'll run to the bathroom right now. But that's why I'm just like, I can't do it, because I'm going to end up getting a bunch of games I don't care for. You know? I think you can X off. I think you can fill that up to 200, and then you have to like email them specifically more games that you have. It only goes up to like 200, which is still a shit ton. But some of these game libraries are freaking, even back then, they're 500, 600 games, 700 games. I think the NES is maybe over 700, for example. And something like the PlayStation's like probably 1,500, if not more. Original PlayStation, I'm saying. It's a tough thing to do. If you just want to collect, though, it's great. It also works if you live far from retro game stores. You know, say you're 45 minutes from, and you're like, I don't want to drive there. I don't want to go there. It works for that as well. Although you can also, I was looking on eBay. I'm like, I can go on eBay and get a 6-game lot of NES games for under $50. You know, so you can... It's still a cool service, though. These services are pretty cool. Some are more expensive than VGM. And as you go up higher, the games are cheaper per game with the shipping, because you do 10. It's like, I think there's a 20-game box for like $100 and something, and the shipping's a little more. I think it's like $175 maybe total with the shipping. So you're doing a little better there in terms of like your value, but who knows what they're going to send you. And you got to do like 8 systems, I think, for that. But still a cool service, but it's not... And sometimes you get a 1-up, which is cool. If you get a 1-up card, you get an extra game in your box, which is cool. Because I've watched a lot of people do these unboxings, and some people, like every month they're getting solid stuff, and then other people, it's like, they'll get a good box, and then the next box is just, they're like visibly pissed. But that's the gambling aspect, right? Like, the mystery. And they always do it to where they can't see it, and they show you. I like that kind of stuff. That's what YouTube is. Peak YouTube for me is people showing their pickups. It's more entertaining than any of the shows I'm watching right now. I like watching that stuff. But, yeah, I'm going to hit this hour here. I'm going to end it like right at an hour. But, yeah, gum-chewing long ramble, hour-long ramble from May here. Touching on the usual stuff. And, yeah. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. Probably Saturday or something. I'm going to probably get up sooner so I can delete it and get it off. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.